cold on the side of the shore, watching from the decks as the ships load up all of our supplies for our little tiny. Well, I guess as a submarine, we just two in a can, really. My colleague and I have been given a grant to continue our research into the depths of the ocean and weren't about to give up this chance. Skies are gray and waves rough, but running out of time to get this expedition on for this year. So, ship loads up and we go out onto the wide, vast ocean, gray skies blanketing above, and dark blue, deep ocean all around us. It's going to be a long, long way down. All right. I believe we are live. Hello. Welcome to a solo tabletop night as we try and continue on with our games of eerie creepiness through the month. This is all the first time I am running the simulcast. I may have to stop the YouTube one in case it's a little choppy, but if not, let me just do a check here before I go in full intros. Again, first time. We're also doing a test of all the streaming stuff here. So, all right. Our delightful Twitch is looking good. So let me see how the YouTubes are. I want just to make sure we're all running smooth. If not, I may have to cut one. It looks like we're okay. It looks like we're live. Yeah, it looks like everything's good. Sweet. Now that the check is done, well, we got to get introductions and all that jazz stuff. So, hello, Phase of Fiends. Welcome to tonight's solo tabletop game. If you can't tell, it is called The Crushing Dark. And the top of this one, the disclaimer is I was given a copy of this game by my delightful friends over at Knave of Cups. So if you wish to explore that game that we're going to explore tonight, but you wish to do it for yourself, just command code in chat I have here, at least for our Twitch people. I may have to update for YouTube later, but if we do a crushing, that brings up our physical stuff. You can get the physical, follow the physical link follow the physical link in the first one, or if they're sold out, you can use the second link, our digital link there. So let me get it for our delightful YouTube friends as well if it didn't go through, because it's my first time simulcasting and first time streaming on Twitch. So if, or YouTube, I mean. So if it doesn't go, then I will do it there, and there it went. All right. So yes, this is The Crushing Dark by, it says on the front here, by Madeline Amber, or Amber and Ash as the group game. Publishing is, let me close this, I'm getting distracted by the other windows here. And this is a Wretched and Alone game, which I think I've played some modified ones, but never straight up a full Wretched and Alone game. I know this one's a little different as Retro Alone games tend to use a tumbling tower. This one is a little different. It uses, it actually recommends that you use various size stones. I tried my best. I could not go out as I live in a very not rocky area because I'm in the city and it's been very wet and very rainy. So not good times to go hunting for rocks. But I have a few. I got some stones. I got some stones of varying sizes here. And crystals I found. Some of my ones painted that I got from up our audio here. There, this was some random skipping flat stone I found, as well as just a bunch of ruined stones, because that was the most I have for a collection of stones. So we'll kind of disperse between all the rocks that we have here. So we got 19 of those. We have a deck of playing cards. I have this deck. I forget. It was so long ago I got these. They are Leonardo Silver Edition. What? There goes a card. Like kind of might be hard to see. That was printed through a special, I think it was Indiegogo or something back in the day. And it says Art of Playing Cards. So artofplayingcards.com/Leonardo. So this is the silver edition. I got a other edition's gold. What does it say here? Elite Finish Edition. So it has like goldish. Can't really say with the filters. It is different. Maybe another time. But yeah, so that is our what we need. So I usually do a flip through of the book to introduce like mechanics, so we get like the mechanical level above table before we jump right into the roleplay. So if you've seen any of my other past solos, you'll notice that's the trend. So this time I got the physical book here. Very lovely, very fun art as well. So let me read this in order. So The Crushing Dark, what the game is and does, it's a journaling adventure, as most games are that I've played here. It's adapted from The Wretched game, a game by Chris Bissett, Chris Bissett. And in this adventure, we are role-playing as a scientist undertaking a solo descent into the bathysphere to explore to unexplored depths, cut off from the world above, unlikely to see the surface again. Your adventure will be one of discovery, unraveling sanity, survival, and learning to let go. So I said already what we'll need. That was in the next little section of this. The only ones I didn't mention was my dice. Where's my... it's over here. So you do two D20s, which I have two of here. Let me get... there you go. I got a... this one was from a Dispel Kickstarter. And this one was from Sunflower Emporium. I wish the camera could show them well and I didn't have my filter on, but they're very, very pretty dice. So that's what I'm playing with. As well as a D6, which I also have a Flower Emporium D6 that I pulled for this game. As it is sort of white and blue in color, and I really think it fits well. All right. So the next portion, after for what you need, and I'm recommending for best game experience recording thing, I got you all. You all will be my recording. So we have here, just trying to get my chats in order. I cannot look around all over the screen. There we go. So what we need here, I said, this is my recording. You are my recording device. So these are my captain's logs. And then our next section is your colleague or bracket and crush bracket. So this is a person, they are an equal in every way to you. When you boarded the bathysphere, you parted as friends, but you and your colleague both know how things lie. Ooh. You said you'd come back. You together shared the glory of discovery. It was their worried face that struck in your mind as you slipped below the waves, fleshing out the identity of your crush. The complexity of your partnership can be part of the game. But you may wish to determine your crush's gender, sexual orientation beforehand, at least decide their name and pronouns. All right. So, as described in our little opening scene here, we have come out to the middle of the ocean. I believe the Pacific Ocean. Reading things here. Or I guess it could be any ocean. I'm imagining a colder area. Yes. Cold area. Okay, it's in here in one of the sections here. So my crush / colleague, a man. I'll say I'm also playing man. We're both man. I'm crushing on my man partner. And he's very much young Jacques Cousteau looking. So a long but well kept beard, dark eyes under a heavy brow, the sort of similar hat to what I'm wearing, but in grays, and he very much dressed up in like that high collar and tweed coat, having notes and various things in his arms, mid to late 30s ish. And his name is let's call him Giuseppe. What's a good name? Last name to go with Giuseppe. Giuseppe Corol. Giuseppe Corol. That will be our colleague and crush that stays up above as I take on our I keep calling it the bathysphere, but our spherical vessel that goes into the depths. So after determining our crush, our next entry is, will you make it back? Well, it says the numbers are not on our side. We are scientists, yes. We've done the math. We can lower you down there to a massive underwater cleft in the sea floor. No one has gone so deep before, but can they pull you back? Can you survive the creatures and challenges down there? What we have is a spherical vessel, as we mentioned, the bathysphere of experimental design. Is as sound as you and your peers could construct it. A great winch secures the bathysphere in a length of steel cable and thousands of meters of hosing to the Pelican, a glorified tugger bobbing in the West Pacific. Air is pumped from the Pelican and the carbon dioxide is sucked out using an air scrubbing system. As you venture deeper, the gaseous mixture will change to account for increased atmospheric pressure. The air shouldn't be a problem, as long as your machines work as they should. Once you are sufficient depth, your wet sulfur torches will flare into light and should burn for the duration of your descent. The torches are mounted to the front and one to the underside of the bathysphere. Additionally, there is a small external helper arm you can operate from within using gear work and pulleys. It can be used to gather materials and samples during your descent. You have tried to account for your personal needs, air, food, water. But so much could go wrong. It's the best technology the 1950s has to offer. You'll have to do. All right, then. So there's, I guess, our setting. It is the 1950s. It is out in the middle of the Pacific West Ocean, and we are just leaving the Pelican, the glorified tugboat, on our vessel, which, you know, the little drawing on the front, which is also on the storefront materials and all that, is right there. Oh. Sound is working. Perfect. I did Made sure I did a check this time, and with the simulcast on YouTube, awesome. All right. Now, for the remaining information here, our win condition is if you remove all 6 saving stones from the Ace of Hearts. I guess I'll learn what that is. Lose conditions is if your pile of stones tumble or if you draw 4 kings. I feel like the pile of stones will tumble first, but we'll see. They also have a page kind of describing what are the best ways to go into describing your journal entries, like very much a format of, you know, a captain's log. So we'll start with that and like going through the depths. And I have a piece of paper in front of me to mark down how far I'm going. Okay, so I'll be coming back to this page quite a bit. So we are now on how to play spread. Look at that fun jellyfish. Very fun. And then spread. So I'm going to calm that music down a little bit here. We're going to do our first recording and then go through the 3 phases we have here. So yeah, let's start our play and get on with it. So, Captain's Log, Journal Entry 001. My name is Halen Johnson. And it is currently 7:32 a.m. I'm in the first 0 to 200 meter into the ocean, slowly descending down. It is summer, late May 27th, 1952. I'm an advanced researcher and science biologist for this voyage going into the abyssal cleft out in the middle of the West Pacific Ocean. We're attempting to make an over 42,000 feet descent to the bottom. We are unsure if our technology of this vessel will maintain at the depths, so there is a high chance whether it is the pressure or the ability to even come back in time, whether air cut out, food supply dry, or water gone, or my own brain fighting against me and putting me in a state that I may try and claw my way out. Well, if that's the case, I'll at least leave something here in hopes that if this vessel gets found and pulled up, that I may have a thorough record of not just my scientific findings, but as well as my emotional inputs. This journey is an entire life's work of myself and Dr. Coral. And since I think this may be a trip that will end me, I will say that, Sep, I wish we could have had the life together that we wanted, because as much as we tried not to admit it, I think you felt it too. but you are my greatest colleague, my greatest peer, my best friend, and above all, the person I love most in the world. I hope that these logs can be recovered, so that those who follow me will have much to learn from, and maybe try not to make this descent until more research and further technology advancements can happen. All right, that was our first entry. So, phase 1. We roll a 6-sided die to determine how many cards we pull from our deck. 4. 1. And I'm actually going to put this sideways because this dark space here is for my rock tower. Or stone tower, as it has. These cards are slippery, goodness. Okay, so I got 4 all face down. Address these tasks and ideas one at a time, describing how long you spend working at them as you go. All right, so let us flip one at a time here. First one, 2 of hearts. Go to 2 of hearts. Ah. All right, so another disclaimer once again. If you want to play this game, spoilers for prompts. Just a heads up. So the hearts deal with incredible creatures and discoveries made while observing the depths as they pass the tiny watch window of your bathysphere. Some of these wonders could rewrite science as you know it. Some could destroy you. With the 2 of hearts, a foe has emerged out from the black beyond. You know what to do now. You feel triumph and hopeful that you'll make it through this. If this is the first card drawn in the game, find the Ace of Hearts in the deck and put it into play. Ooh. So, believe in yourself and you're determined to complete the task. Okay. So after the descent into the depths, after the seeing out through the window, the face of Giuseppe, worried and saddened, as though we understand that this will be, or this could very highly potentially be the last time we see each other. After that first log entry, I sort of feel embroiled as though my stubbornness kicks in, wanting to ensure that I can go back to Giuseppe and tell him to his face how I feel. That we deserve to be together. And that we get to have that right too. So now we have our Ace of Hearts. Let me make some room on the playing board here. Just the cards we drawn but haven't gone through yet. And that. So, with this into play, let me just read what the Ace of Hearts is. You see a strange torpedo-shaped submergible of some kind whiz by your window. Impact your waste exchanged unit. You're able to open the metal football. Within it is a vial of green vicious ooze and the instructions, drink me. All right, so let's give this some more breathing room. I see through the window an orca, a pod of orcas. There's always a chance they could bite down on the hose, rig, and metal that's connecting me to the tugboat, the pelican above. And I initially think they were about to, as I feel a bit of a movement, but that's probably more of the more rolling waves that are happening up at the surface, sending that slow rock down because I'm still fairly high up. So let me do my entry here. So captain's log, May entry 002, May 27th, same day as the last one still. As I'm descending down and looking out the window, I observe a pod of orca whales rushing by out from the blackness. I immediately have concerns of them toying with the vessel, as it is small enough, having only me inside, that the larger of the whales, especially as a group, could toss me around. However, I give a quick flaring flash, which may have startled them to move on their way instead of pursuing the curiosity. However, I think it might have been this other thing, as I saw a sort of torpedo-shaped sub of some kind. I'm not too sure. It sort of just rushed past the window, and then I felt a shake and impact in the waste exchange unit. When I went over, I found that there was a metal football type of container. Sort of odd, kind of rusted metal, lots of welding, but there was a way to unlatch it open. And when I did, I found a vial of green viscous ooze and a letter on it saying, "Drink me." This is honestly disturbing. I made sure to patch up any damage from within that I can do. And for now, I'm going to put the screen vial aside and maybe try and extrapolate any information, take a sample of the ooze, and see if maybe I can figure out the properties of it and if it's of any importance. End of log. So, next thing is when the ace is drawn, I play or put 6 stones on it. Let me get my 6 stones. Ooh. Let's do a mix here. The ones that are hard to stack out of the way too. Okay. Is placed faced up with the stones. The stones are called saving stones. Each subsequent time you begin a wakeful phase, begin by rolling a d20. If you roll 18, 19, or 20, you remove a saving stone. When all saving stones are removed, you have achieved salvation, will be rescued alive in a narratively satisfying way of our choosing. Delightful. So that is what that means. That's why the Ace of Hearts is important. All right. All right, there's still, I have to do all the events, I guess, before I do my full recording. Okay. I'll say they're kind of split up, but they're all still the same day. So we are on the 27th still. Next card. 8 of Diamonds. The Bell. Diamonds have to do with the state of your bathysphere as it descends far past its physical limitations. The ocean crushing in around it. The waste pipe where you store and then release your excrement into the surrounding water whistles as you descend. And you realize the changing pitch of this whistle is gradually lowering. It will eventually drop subsonic. This may attract predators, but for now, its drone is a soothing comfort in a soundless world. So having that impact initially, I was paying more attention to sort of that waste exchange, paying attention to the pipes to make sure there was nothing leaking from that impact. I make note of the slow change of that sound. For the most part, being a biologist, I'm aware of whales. To a certain depth, I'll probably come across giant squid. And though those creatures may be curious of me, I don't imagine they would come right out and attack me. So unless there's creatures that are just been unfounded, which very possible, that was the whole purpose of this adventure. But for now, I'll just keep a ear on it, and if it seems to get to a point of being concerned, then we will turn to it. Next one, 7 of diamonds. We're a few hundred feet down, and suddenly it becomes entirely too hot and small inside the bathysphere. Your breath fogs the watch glass. Has the CTO scrubber broken? Has the hose twisted? Place a stone. Do this one. So sweat sort of pools on my forehead a little bit onto my brow. I wipe it. If anything happened on the outside, there's not much I can do, so I need to make sure I take very slow, deliberate breaths, at least while I'm awake. Last card. 4 of hearts. Ooh, a massive swarm of pastel-toned jellyfish with shimmering tentacles surround the bathysphere, lighting it fully. Heart-wrenchingly lovely. The colors dance across the interior of the bathysphere so that you, too, seem just one star in the host of the heavens. You lose sight of them as you sink below their light. So continuing my Cactum's log. Since there's still not much to see beyond my window, we have not yet reached our destination. It will be hours, if not a day or so before then. I've noticed changes in the vessel already, some concerning things. And I'm finding the space has become entirely too hot. There's a chance something may have clogged the CO2 hose during the outtake of air. But I am unsure. I'm going to try and maintain my breath, try not to overexert myself or do anything that will cause me to create more CO2 output. But with that knowledge, I've looked out the window, and as I noticed sort of a glow catching and illuminating the rim of the watch window and glowing the inside of the interior. And as I look out, I observed a passing school of jellyfish. Unlike the ones I've typically seen, they were shimmering and sparkling, very pastel toned in appearance. And I just find myself at ease watching them. It feels so long to be among them, but at the same time, so short as I continue into the depths and lose sight of their glow. That was all 4 of the cards we had. So now we have a broken thing between phase and cataloging here. So for personal journaling, I wish you could have seen Yes, Giuseppe. The jellyfish were quite lovely. Kind of made me feel like I was in a dream, that the pressures around me crushing in on the vessel didn't matter. It's a comfort, but I hope I can come back and be able to show it to you. All right. Now our stones. Oh, I just put a bunch there. It says 13, but I used 6 here. Got that one. Okay. We built the tower. Okay, yeah, we finished the phase. Stone tower phase. Okay. Let me see if there was any other thing I gotta be on the lookout for. There's dream elements though. What are dream elements? Let me find what describes the dream elements. Oh, it's optional. Okay. So what lies below? List tasks, ideas, hurdles, inspiration to discover during the course of the waking period. Wakeful. They're listed below by suit. Generally, even numbered cards are safe, while all odd numbered cards frequently require placing a stone. So our next phase, we will get to roll a d20 for the hearts. Otherwise, there is a dreaming period we can choose to have, which I think I will. I like the idea of having a dreaming period. So let me roll 2 d20s because I got them. And we will utilize the dream table. I got a 13 and a 2. You may choose to only record your dreams if you have worked long hours over 12. I think I had a long day today. Let me see what we got here. So on our first d20, as I sleep, I have a dream that I am in my childhood home. It is a coastal home on the west coast, just outside of Vancouver. Sort of a cottagey style, and lots of nature and space out there. Sort of where I developed the love for ocean and marine life. But I just recall in this dream being in the kitchen, and there I am with my mother. I don't see her face. She never turns to me, but I do recognize her silhouette, her posture, the clothing, from decades ago when I was a child. And she is there by the stove, a boiling pot, and putting live lobsters into it. I remember one of the things my father had taken from the East Coast was being able to do lobster rolls. So these, just having like a lobster salad essentially put into a roll. It's very good, and it'd be a treat when other mom has done it, because dad would always ask if she could make a lobster roll. Right. So that is our fun little dream. So now let us do our next stage here. So first, as we begin our next wakeful phase, our next day, we get to roll a d20. That rolled a 2. So we do not get to remove a stone from our card. All right. Now we get to roll how many cards we get. 4 again. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. First card. Jack of Spades. What does that mean? So my first task as I wake up this day from the memory of having lobster rolls back in my childhood home. So the spades provide opportunities to reflect on past experiences in order to help get you back to the surface. It includes memories of your life and memories of vulnerability with your crush. So with the jack. The creatures down here defy conventions. Are you really so different? Wasn't there always something in you longing to be loosened in the darkness? They say the crush of the water will kill you and your blood will boil in your veins. After a little time down here, you think maybe you are not the same anymore. The task of contemplation. The next card is 7 of Spades. Let me just make sure. You can only go a few hundred feet with every waking phase. Yeah, so we were, I'll say with the last increment, we got down to 200 meter. We are now when I get to the entry. Okay. So 7 of Spades. There aren't many avenues you haven't explored, and you remember the voice of your most hated professor. He said you'd never amount to anything. You remember the voice of your aunt. She hated you as much as she loved the bottle. You said you'd die alone. Now here you are. Place is stone. My goodness, no. So, through these moments of contemplation, you know, thinking of how similar, not just in a scientific sense of biology with a lot of ocean creatures, but the wanting to be free out into the ocean. But then those flashes of memories and voices echo in my brain. So that Professor Oakley, and my Aunt Reba. It was always hard to fight back those feelings of not being good enough, battling with the ideas of needing to prove myself and show them I can do what I want and follow my dreams. And it was just step through our college university years as we seem to follow the same path, meeting again in the same work. He was the one that always gave me anchor. But being here now, alone in essentially a descending coffin to the depths of the ocean. Hard to say. If my love and feeling for Giuseppe will win out, or if I will collapse to the despair of those darkened words. Diamonds, 5. I think it said the odd numbers are bad, right? Yeah. One of your 3 wet sulfur lights, the only illumination you have to view the depths beyond your bathysphere, flares out explosively. It instantly melts the mounting poles, and you feel the white heat of it, unrestrained fury, arc across the front of the vessel. Several small shorts fizzle in your terminal, and for one moment, all the lights go out, and you are sinking helplessly. It's a stone. Let's do this. Yeah. I think through trying to focus on notes, going over research we've done for the millionth time, I don't hear the initial hissing of the light, which wasn't supposed to be quite on yet as we're still descending down, and just seeing that explosive white flare in the watch window and that glow heat up across the surface of the sphere of our vessel. And in a panic, I try and hold my breath as it is still a very hot space in here, just a little bit of condensation now happening on the outside or on the inside of the window, just from the hot air in here meeting the colder ocean water outside until we get to a depth where it becomes unbearably hot. I see the little sparks at the terminal and immediately rush over as all lights go out. Last card, 6 diamonds. Ah. So a small drawer under your seat contains rations, but below them is a small collection of clamps and adhesives. You discover that one of the adhesives works well to reinforce the watch glass against the increasing pressure. Its noxious fumes turn your stomach. All right, so let's do our captain's log. So, captain's log, May 28th, 1952. Time, 1700 or 5 o'clock p.m. We are now down to 750 meters into the depths, and the complications are building. So I have contemplation of what it would be like to be floating out in the darkness and the depths, undering those sensations. Complications have happened within the vessel. One of the flare lights has exploded and done some minor damages across the hull. To what extent, I do not know, and may have to suffer in the coming hours or days, depending on any further damages we may suffer. However, I do recall that underneath the seat, there was some materials for fixing the various tech as well as the watch glass in case of emergencies. So using one of the lights, kind of free lights, one of the torches, I was able to fix the wiring that sparked in the terminal, gaining back some interior lights and the remaining outdoor flashlights, and use some adhesives to solidify the seal around the watch window to make sure that initial flash damage didn't create any punctures that could potentially develop into a full leak. Sep. Or it's hard to not let your thoughts go into dark places being down here. Dark thoughts meet dark places. I often worry about the words of our professor, Professor Oakley. I even think about the words of my aunt. You know the one. And in a bittersweet way, I'm glad it is me that is down here. Because you've always been the better student. You've always been the better scholar and researcher and scientist. That's what I admire about you, your ambitions. I know we fought a bit about being here, but we also, I knew this could be the end for whoever took this position. And there's no way I was going to let you give up such a life of opportunity. You're the stronger one. And I know you'll be able to handle whatever happens a lot better than I could. End of vlog. All right. So let's see. A stone tower, which we did. That was our phase. We only got... was there supposed to be 2? Let me double check here. Because it said odd numbers have the potential of doing stone. So let me double check. Here we had 5 diamonds. That did place a stone. And the spades. It's also supposed to be a stone. I have any last time? Oh, I didn't. Okay. Okay. I should be at 3 stacked. I did that. Awesome. So now that I finished my tasks for the day, my log let me sleep. Let me sleep. All right. I rolled my first number, 17, and then a 9. So my dream it's a weird sort of dreamscape I'm in. It's as though I am out in a field of tall grasses. I'm out in the prairies or something, and the sky is gray, much like the day that I first came down here, but much denser clouds, and there's sort of that feeling of electricity in the air, a metallic tang, as though just before lightning would strike. As I stand, I do see a flash, followed by a thunderous roar, and then a sudden, sickening crack, a broken bone. It almost feels like my entire skeletal structure has broken apart, and searing pain echoes through. And that immediately snaps me back awake, sweat pouring down my face as I realize I'm just in a pool, a puddle of sweat on my cot. It is very warm in the vessel. But I'm awake now, so might as well start the day. First, let's see if we get any of these stones off of my ace here. 16. Nope, I need 18, 19, or 20. Now let's roll 4 cards. Okay, I rolled 4 entire time. Let me roll again. There we go, 3. Our first card, for our first task for the day, 2 of spades. So, as the bathysphere descends, the walls of this cleft draw near. So we're finally reaching a depth in which we can see, that sort of underwater cliff face, like the trench. I see enormous clams with serrated shell edges clinging to the musculature ledges, or not musculature, minuscule ledges. Surely they make use of some kind of very strong natural adhesive. You could gather enough of the substance. You could use it to reinforce your bathysphere, buying you time. But how do you get it out? How do you get it from out there to safely in here? Well, our vessel has been equipped with the means to gather external information, as there is that little clampy arm. And I imagine there must be along, maybe near the waste unit where we initially got that weird sphere thing of that green liquid I haven't drunk yet. But I imagine we are able to collect up some samples of the clam and bring into a space that kind of gets sealed up and sealed off and drained out so that I may obtain whatever was collected. Ooh, our first club. Ace of clubs. That is other page. Back one. A volley of coughs leaves you straining to catch your breath. It feels like something's trying to get out. Finally, you cough out a large, wet wad of pulsing black goo. Small fish swims out from it and drops through the metal grating under your feet. Feels so much better. You worry there could be more. Yeah, this is not... So clubs, I didn't get to read this one, I forgot to. This is our first card. Clubs have to do with your physical and mental state. You have been cut from human connection with no discernible day or night and the only minimal food and water available to you. So I go through these coughing fits and see what happens, the blackness that comes out into my handkerchief in my hand, and that small, weird, swimmy fish leaping out from the goo and into the grates below. Ooh. I'm glad I got it out. It feels a lot better, but I do worry, what if there's more? And then I have a panic think of that ooze, that green liquid that came to the vessel. Maybe this is what it was meant for. Maybe if I drink it, it will kill whatever other fish may be lurking within me. So, without further information that I had intended to do, I will drink that viscous glue. Goo. And our final one is Queen of Club. So, after the coughing fit and drinking that green vial, a migraine sort of sits in and takes me out for half a day. The world is swimming with brilliant color and pain. When you begin to emerge from it, you discover you've been inspired with a solution to a critical problem you've been struggling with. Finally, some small good has come from this reoccurring crippling pain. All right. So with those being all of our cards, let's jump to the catalog then. So Captain's Log, May 29th, 1952. Probably even later than the last one. So 1838. Or, no, going to be 2038, aka 8:38 p.m. The two, the ace, and so I was up early after sort of nightmare and decided to keep a watch out, and I realized we were getting closer to the cleft. In fact, we are now at 1,230 meters below the surface. And we are just at the top of this underwater cavernous space. I see upon the ledges the shapes of clams. So I went through an hour or two of collecting what samples I could and bringing them into the vessel. So I started to develop some auras. I took some medication. I don't know if it may have spurred some instant coughing fit in me, along with some unsettling events, but I am feeling better other than the migraine that I had to take on. However, through making it through that pain, I was able to come up with a solution to using the adhesive from the clams to enforce the ship to recover the wiring that short-circuited after that fuse last night that caused the ship lights to initially go out before I got the emergency power on. So I have recovered what I needed, just enough to get the rest of the lights going and feeling a little bit safer even at these much darker depths. Zep. I will always be forthright with you. What I'm about to say doesn't seem to have any scientific or truly medical bearing, but it is my experiences. Through my coughing fit, I had expelled some sort of black ichor, and in it, some weird swimmy fish that leapt out and went down into the grates. I unfortunately could not capture it to maintain for study, and my biggest fear was having more of them inside of me. A green vial that I had obtained that first day, I decided to drink it. All right. Let's see what our dream will be. Shake, shake, shake. I rolled a 2 already. I'm going to re-roll that. All right. 14 and 15. Yes. Ooh. So I am back sort of in the area of my home out in the woods, walking a familiar trail, though unfamiliar at the same time. And I see a deer carcass just on the road and hundreds of carrion beetles picking it clean. Now, this doesn't really disturb me. That's just the cycle of nature. There's always sort of carrion creatures cleaning away the dead. Just how it moves on. But as I'm watching, I see sort of my mother begin walking by. I catch a look. And again, it feels like her face is vague. Like my brain can't fully place the visage of my mother. But the feeling is there. She turns away, clenching at her chest, at her heart. Small, mournful whimper. She's crying as she turns away from me, rushes off. Blue. All right. Next waking day. Let's first see if we can get a stone off that ace. Nope. Now let's see how many cards we get for our task today. 6. My goodness. 1, 2, 3, 5. All right. So our first task, Jack of Clubs. Let us take a sip of hydration because it's been a bit. Remember to hydrate, everybody. Perfect. So I've been going back over the previous journal entries, and I discovered to my horror that the pages and recordings are blank. How can they be blank? Did I do it? No, I did do it. I remember doing it. I remember I take a pen and paper in my notebook and I try and write and write and write, but nothing comes out. Try and make a noise, but nothing comes out. There's a stone. Let's do a hard one. Oh, there we go. There's a hard one. Well, I'm panicking, unable to get any words, whether through voice or through written hand. Another odd and 3 of club. There's a despair sinking over me. Even though I can't make any noise through vocalization, a growling rumble strains from within my stomach, and it's constant. I thought there was enough food. At some point, I didn't realize that I was sucking on a button that I pulled off my shirt, which I'm now just down to a white, beaten up, sort of undershirt and my denim pants. I was sucking on this button to try and distract me, trying to calm myself down. But my hands are trembling and I'm just failing at making any other research in the space. And because I'm so aware of the sudden silencing of myself, everything else seems so much louder. This bathysphere groans, same and yet worse at the same time. And the water just seems to, I swear I can hear the water just pressing in. I can't touch the other stone below. It's got to be one-on-one. Ooh. Ooh. King. The king of clubs. I got a lot of clubs this day. I feel like this might be my last day. Oh, but you come out of a fugue state to find you have attacked the bathysphere from the inside. Your hands are trembling and covered in blood, and your console is smashed beyond recognition. You've also consumed all your remaining food and water rations. Stone. So considering the last 2 problems, this has been a buildup through the hours, maybe days of this. The feeling of, seeing all my recorded research just gone, unable to make sound myself, the rumbling of my stomach, just that pain constantly going, and the extra sensitivity to the pressures around the sphere. I gotta get out. And in a blind break, I'm scratching at all the pipes and the wiring. The lights I had once recovered now turn off and emergency lights turn on. Sizzling of steam, the heat inside building up from my rush of activity before I snap to. My nails are practically gone from my fingers from clawing at every surface, and the blood from being cut up from any exposed metal materials. It hurts. And I look to the console and I see it all smashed up. I realize I'm not going to get out. Place a stone. Well, let me read. Hold on, let me read, see if I place a stone all at once. Okay. Weird. Right. Get this. Oh. I'm probably going to fail in the next one or two. All right. Ace of Diamonds. Go. Since coming out of that wild state, I look at one of the panels and realize there's something unusual. There's a piece of paneling while attempting. Yeah. So I try and fix what damage I've done, and while attempting to reinforce this bathysphere from within, I realized I didn't install this panel. Decept did. And last minute? But it's functional. As I sort of tap at it, I realize this panel is some sort of underwater audio projector. I press it and hope that this is a call for help. That maybe somehow will go up the line to Giuseppe. Or maybe it will go out to whoever sent me that green viscous fluid. Or maybe it will attract someone who's down here with me. Who could be down here with me, though? 5 of hearts. Odd number is not good. A small school of 3 or 4 fast-moving, 4-foot-long bright silver fish have targeted the bathysphere. They throw themselves at the door and the watch glass with such force that you fear they'll break it open. They have white metal eyes and so many teeth. It's a stone. So through my frantic reinforcement of the vessel, I feel that sudden shake and thud and turn to the glass. And I see the foursome of fish striking. Want that. Ooh. And now it's just me trying to reinforce what I can, and I slap that audio panel and hope that the screeching of the audio would scare the 4 fish away. Vessel groans and creaks from their initial bashing. Say there is no log this time, as I've been made aware that I cannot speak and I cannot write. But maybe for those that may come across my research, to them they do see and find all of my entries that I've done thus far. But this current one, which would be entry 005, maybe 6. There's just scribbles and scribbles, and the audio log doesn't make any sense. It's almost as though, like, it's, even though it is my voice, it's almost as though I am trying to relearn a language and that the words aren't pairing up correctly. The grammar is unstructured. It just doesn't make sense. And there are moments where I yell out about the crushing dark, about boiling, very disturbing words slewed through apparent sinking to a mental state. Our last card. 3 of Spades. I suddenly realized that a creature or idea that bothered me before I was returned, this time you won't be able to shrug it off easily. Your different desperate action, place a stone. So I initially thought I scared off those fish. But they were determined to take me out. That audio all ringing. Ah! Echoing through the ocean. One by one, those 4 fish slammed to my vessel, cracking the hull, denting into it. So my tower fell. So let me read what it's supposed to be the end. So if any of your tower tumbles, that's it. Your game is concluded. Should you log be recovered, your final moments will remain a mystery as you would be unable to record them. So since this was all part of the one log, this jump into utter unhinged state will never be known by those on the surface. Giuseppe will never know of how I watched in utter terror and cold sweat, though against hotted interior, as one by one these fish slam into the sphere, cracking and denting, eventually a single pop, and the sudden implosion of the vessel. And that is it. My tower fall. There's nothing more. All right. Well, that was interesting. See if I never got a stone off of here. Let me see. I'm just going to roll. Well, there's a 20. Never got a stone off. It's funny. This gave me so much hope drawing the Ace of Hearts right away, but nope. All right. Well, that is our game. I hope you enjoyed it. This little venture with me into the crushing dark. Our poor Holland Johnson did not make it back to the surface. His love, now completely unknown to his efforts, is of course very sad. Giuseppe Coral is very, very sad that he lost his colleague and friend and life partner. To the extent of that life partner is, well, he'll never know. But yeah, so if you wish to explore this game yourself and see how well you do against the odds, as they are very much stacked against you as you go deeper into the depths of the ocean, look up, you can look up the Crushing Dark over on Knee of Cups, where they have physical copies if they're still there. If not, you could always check out the itch page where you can buy it from. The links are in chats. And then for YouTube, I will remember to drop it. More information in the descriptions down below. Of course, if you enjoyed the stream, or if this is a VOD for you, if you enjoyed the video, regardless, remember here on Twitch, drop me a follow or subscribe and subscribe. That helps me know you like me. Or here on YouTube, a subscribe, a like and subscribe. That is super great. All helps me. Again, this book was given to me by my friends over at Knee of Cups. If you go there, buy your own or buy other games, as they have a slew of solo games and other party games as well for a group of people. Use code JUDGMENT at checkout. If you spend $25 or more, you'll get $5 off, because I want people to play more games, and that's how we roll. And yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed another dark, sad solo tabletop game here with me. We will be continuing our series as per usual. Our next one will be announced soon, so make sure you follow to see what it is. It will be happening on Halloween. Amazing. Amazing that happened. And yeah, though we do have some special things first before we jump over to there. On Friday, I'm going to be doing a very special solo stream, as I will be playing a game by my friend Anya. That's from La Lyon. She had made another game that used my artwork, which was Tea and Toadstools. But she is now using one of my art packs for her new game called The Apothecary's Apprentice. So I'll be playing that Friday with a preview copy to help support in her upcoming Kickstarter, which is releasing on November 1st. So if you're watching this after November 1st, well, if it's November, you have time to check out the Kickstarter and support it, or buy later if you're watching this at a much later date and it's all over. But yeah, she used all my art, that art pack, and I will be doing some original work for the game as well. I'm hoping to have goals for a postcard as well as a full-size poster of the same piece. So make sure you check that out. Yes, it's going to be delightful. Very delightful. I always enjoy the sort of apothecary, witchy games. And I can't wait to be able to do some of those and some pre-recorded stuff in the future. Which I got a lot of future plans. So other than finishing off our Halloween spook time, I do have one more game in November to help another Kickstarter, which also very much fits the theme of Halloween, but it's at the end of their Kickstarter. That's for the game solo game Ritual. So we'll be doing that game on the 7th of November, I believe. And then we're going to be taking a break because I very much need one. I've been spread pretty thin between playing solo games for you all, as well as being on various tabletop streams and recordings. I've been over on Exquisite Corpse. We finished up things with Zeal Zaddy and going to be jumping to more. It's been a very busy time. But hoping to have a little bit of break. Then we'll go through the winter holidays and then jump into the new year with a bunch of fun projects and like. I got a lot on the roster that I wish to explore and develop and show you all. But yes, I think with that, well, I said the game, Crushing Dark, thanks to Knee of Cups. I'm also going to drop that in at least the Twitch chat, because I have a command for Knee of Cups called Knave. If you want to double check that coupon code, Judgment. And yeah, once again, the cards I was playing with, it's an artplayingcards.com/Leonardo. I don't know if that's still a thing. This was the silver edition deck I used today. And the stones are just random things I had. So my random crystal collection, I think this one's fake. It feels fake. Some stones I've had from a long ass time ago with some native art on it. and ruins, which maybe those out there in the space wish to see what ruins I have drawn and determine. I'll probably take a moment after stream to determine what the hell I drew here. But here's all of the runes that I had. Hopefully that can. I'm not even seeing what my screen is like here. Okay, you can all see that when my hand is removed. Yes, so thank you so much for joining me. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever it is, wherever you are in your time zone. Remember to hydrate. Very important. It's good for all your organs, especially when you're talking a lot. You want to make sure your vocal cords are well hydrated and lubricated. And yeah, medications, all the fun stuff to look after yourself. I know we have a lot of scary times happening both in the world and in our personal lives, so make sure you give yourself the room to breathe and look after yourselves. Can't be your best you when you're spread too thin. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope the YouTube side all went well. It looked like it did. So I may be simulcasting from here forward thanks to Twitch's changing their rules. Yay! Yeah. So thank you so much. Bye.